Students, now we shall be talking about light phase or the photochemical reaction. We also call it as light dependent reaction, or another name is Hill's reaction, right? So what are these two type of reactions? We have the light reaction and we have the dark reaction. So we first will talk about light reaction. As the name suggests, it's a light reaction. Then light has to do something with it, right? Yeah. So light reaction is a type of reaction in which it occurs in the light. So it occurs in the grana faction of the chloroplast, and in this reaction, what all things are included in this reaction are included those activities which are completely dependent on light. Meaning, if there is no light, then these set of reactions, these activities, reactions will not take place. So light dependent reaction is the light reaction that is there, right? So the light reaction, so this is the light reaction. You see in the presence of light in the granum, the many is granum, like single is granum and many is grana. So in this grana faction of the chloroplast, reactions take place in the presence of light. Yeah. So students, basically, like I showed you here, assimilatory power, that is the ATP and the NADPH2, they are mainly produced in the light reaction. So you see that ATP is produced and NADPH2 is produced. Now talking more about this light phase, Robin Hill in 1939 was the first one to show that if chloroplast extracted from the leaves of the Stellaria media and Lemmium album, they are suspended in a test tube that's containing a suitable electron acceptor, for example potassium peroxalate, then some plants require only this chemical and potassium ferricyanide oxygen is released due to the photochemical splitting of the water. Okay, so hence the light reaction is also called as Hill's reaction, and you now know why. Now under these conditions, students, as I mentioned, no carbon dioxide was consumed at all and no carbohydrate was also produced, but light that was driven the reduction, it drives the reduction of the electron acceptor, and it was accompanied by oxygen evolution. So what all things happened? Electron acceptor, electron donor, you see that reduced products were formed, and along with that oxygen was evolved. But you must remember that no carbon dioxide was consumed and no carbohydrate was synthesized. So the splitting of water during the photosynthesis was then termed, and this terminology has come from there, that's photolysis. This reaction is known as the Hill's reaction. Photolysis means the breaking or breakdown of the water molecule in the presence of light. Photo means light and lysis means breakdown. So photolysis of water, you can clearly see that here the photolysis of water is taking place, wherein you could see that the oxygen is evolved. So this is the photosystem 2 and NADP. Alright. So Hill's reaction proves that, number one, in photosynthesis, oxygen is released from water. You must remember that always, that the oxygen that you see that comes while photosynthesis, that definitely comes from water. Number two, electrons of the reduction of the carbon dioxide, they are obtained from water, that is a reduced substance, that's hydrogen donor is produced, which later reduces to carbon dioxide. Right? Now, under this light phase, 2,6-dichlorophenolidophenol DCPIP is the dye which is used by the Hill for his famous Hill's reaction, with the help of which we got to know all this information. Right, so the Hill's reaction, wherein he used a leaf extract rich in chloroplast, when radiated the evolved oxygen and acquired the capacity to reduce the hydrogen acceptor, and yeah, that's how we got to know that this oxygen that comes while photosynthesis comes from water, that the breaking down of water, in the presence of light. Here you could see more about 2,6-dichlorophenol DCPIP is the blue chemical. That's a compound used as a redox dye, and this is the molecular structure. Now this dye color is blue. Dichlorophenol DCPIP dye changes color if it is reduced. It changes its color to colorless. So color if reduced, colorless, and when exposed to light in a photosynthetic system. So you can see this is the oxidized form, which is blue in color, whereas this is the reduced form, which is colorless. According to Arnan, 1961, in this process, light energy is converted to chemical energy. So this energy is stored in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, and this process of ATP formation in the chloroplast is known as the photophosphorylation. Photophosphorylation. Break the words, you understand the whole thing. Photo, light, phosphorylation. Adding of phosphate, inorganic phosphate. So that's phosphorylation in the presence of light, hence photophosphorylation, and it forms electron acceptor, that's NADP, as that's a substance that's found in all the living beings. NADPH is formed as hydrogen donor there. Formation of the hydrogen donor, that is the NADPH, from the electron acceptor, that is NADP+, is known as the photoreduction, or we call it as the production of reducing power, NADPH. You can see the whole of the process here, how NADP converts to NADPH.